Hello, 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 my fly Nubian Queen sisters. It's your girl, Shonna Etienne, and I am yet here again with another relationship topic. Now, before I get started, I am going to share this video, and I ask that you ladies do the same thing. But I have a disclaimer. After you hear this topic for today, I do not want you to go and break up with your boo. If you have been with him for a while, if y'all have children together, if y'all are married, whatever the case is, I do not want you to run and break up with him after you hear this today. But we are going to be talking about being equally yoked. And this is not a religious conversation. There is no religion involved in this conversation. Not that that's a bad thing, but this is not that kind of conversation. I'm going to give you my top 8 areas, Dr. Shonna's 8 areas where we should not be unequally yoked with our partners whatsoever. Now, I want to tell you this, that if you are in a relationship and you notice that you have a lot of things going on in this relationship, that you guys are unequally yoked, I will give you areas that you can start to work on, because I don't want you just to jump ship, especially if there's children involved, because you know I'm all about keeping the Black family together. That's what I'm all about. But I'm going to go over these top 8 areas, and we're going to have a conversation. We're going to have a conversation, so make sure you engage with me. Be so kind to share the video. I am going to take the opportunity to share the video as well, and we are going to get started. This is going to be a good one. This is going to be a good one. And people who have heard me before, you all know that sometimes things get really real. It gets real on here, but it's all out of love. This is all a space, a safe space for positive energy, positive connection, no judgment, no judgment. We're not judging anybody here. We're just stating the areas that I see as a marriage counselor, as a licensed couples therapist in the state of New Jersey, where I see people go wrong. A lot of people go wrong in these areas. So I'm going to be addressing that tonight. Just give me a second, sisters. Let me go ahead and share this video. I thank you, every last one of you guys who has shared the video. I really do appreciate that from the bottom of my heart. So let me share this video. We're going to get started. Yes, it's going to be great today. And I'll try to be calm, because y'all know sometimes I go in. You know, sometimes I get really live on here. So I'll try to be calm tonight. So just join me and be patient. Share the video. If you have not already subscribed to flynubianqueen.com, I suggest you take this opportunity after this video to subscribe so that we can all be connected, because you know the videos are not going to be up here forever. We're going to pull them down and put them on that network. So let's get started. I have shared the video and I'm ready. So Dr. Shonna's top 8 areas that we should not be unequally yoked in with our partners. Now, I want to say this, that sometimes we notice that we are compatible. Everybody has this thing where they're looking for compatibility. Are they compatible with their partners? And they get so caught up on signs, right? Astrology. They look to see if they pair up well. Oh, he's this and he's that, or she's this. Okay, I get all of that. But these are the areas you should not ignore. Number 1, if you are unequally yoked with your partner socially, that may not be a good thing. So let me talk about what I mean. If you are unequally yoked with your partner socially, you need to consider if that is the relationship you want to be in. Let me paint the scenario for you. Let me paint the scenario. Too often, as a couples therapist, I see somebody in the relationship who's a homebody, who doesn't like to socialize, who doesn't have a very attractive personality. You know those kind of people. If you're an outgoing person, if you like to be adventurous, if you have a lot of friends, if you're always in the spotlight, why do we get with people who are the complete opposite and they don't even want to make any adjustments? So here it is. You the social butterfly. You're the person who likes to go out. You're the person who likes to meet people. You like to dance. You like to go out socially at bars, whatever the case is. You like to have fun with your partner. You want to be that person that's out there doing the damn thing with your partner right at your side, but you got somebody who don't like to go out. So what tends to happen in these kind of relationships? All too often, I see a person lose a piece of who they are. They put aside who they are, trying to get the other person to accept them or to fit in or to make the other person happy or comfortable, right? What does that say about us when we have to give up who we are in order to be in a relationship with somebody else? What does that say? So I'm not telling you to go, yeah, that's me. My man is like that. I'm breaking up with him tonight. I'm not telling you that. But I want us to pay attention to that. It's so important that we are equally yoked with a partner socially. Now, I'm not saying that we can't have balance, because even some people who are outgoing, even some of them have balance. So they put limits, and that helps us to get structure and stay on place. I'm not talking about that kind of relationship. I'm talking about that relationship when she is hooked up with somebody who likes to be in front of the TV, at home, playing video games all damn day. And she want to get out. She want to go on trips, and she want to go exploring, and he don't want to do that. Or he just wants to go to work and think about money all day. And when he comes home, he don't want to spend any money whatsoever. He don't want to go out. He don't want to go on vacations. He don't want to go on dates. And when he does go on dates, he don't like anything that involves a lot of people. And she knows that she likes to be around people. She knows that she likes to socialize. She likes to party. She likes to engage. But she's with somebody who likes to dim her light. Ooh, my goodness. You got to be socially yoked with your partner. I know of a couple where this girl, bless her heart, she had this personality where she was just so meek. And it's nothing wrong with that. You know, that person who is not into dolling up themselves, dressing up. They're just comfortable. They're just meek people, laid back people. They like to be at home with their kids, like to be at home with their husbands, whatever the case. You know those kind of girls I'm talking about. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that. But she was with somebody who was very social. She was with somebody who was in the music industry. This is real talk. This is a couple I counseled for years. And I can just see the difference in their personalities, especially when it comes to socialization. He likes to go out, meet new people, take vacations, spontaneous, very spontaneous. And that will cause so many arguments in their relationship because she couldn't understand why he always wanted to be in the spotlight, because that's how she saw it. But he wasn't in the spotlight. That was just his personality. So oftentimes what would happen is when they went out, she would dim his light, right? She would dim his light. She would be sulking in the corner. If they had an event, she'd be in the corner not dancing. So he don't even have anybody to dance with. Socially unequally yoked. Some of us ladies are in relationships like that. We're with men who are socially awkward. Men who do not know how to vibe well with other people. Men who don't know what to say, and they're always saying rude damn stuff because they ain't have no damn friends growing up. You know what I'm talking about. Meanwhile, she's uncomfortable out with him, and she's like, oh God, now we got to go home early because he likes to go to bed early. Why do we get ourselves in relationships with people we are socially unequally yoked with? So that was not number one. Number two, educationally. Now, let me define what I mean when I say education, because some people get up in their feelings when I talk about education. Oh, I don't believe you got to be with somebody who has the same degree. That's not what I'm talking about. Don't get so focused on formal education. You could be with someone who has a formal education but doesn't like to learn new things. And that is just the truth. Am I wrong or am I right? You know, you could be with somebody who may have a degree, but they don't grow. They don't professionally grow. They don't personally grow. They stay stuck. They're complacent. They're content to where they are at. So you can't even engage with meaningful conversation because they lack that educational connection. They don't know anything about the world. They're still focusing on 1955 way of being. Old school stuff, beliefs that don't even, they're not true. Beliefs that have been proven false. And they still operate with this ancient dinosaur way of thinking. but you are a person who takes pride in advancing yourself and learning and educating yourself. That is somebody you are unequally yoked with. I had a couple that I was working with, and she was so depressed in her relationship. And I get it. This man didn't want to do anything new. He didn't want to learn anything new. He didn't understand why she was always reading books, why she was watching certain programming. He didn't want to partake in any of that stuff. He didn't want to have political conversations. He didn't want to have spiritual conversations. He didn't want to connect anywhere. And his beliefs were his beliefs, and they were all ancient beliefs. And she was so depressed because she didn't even enjoy having conversations with him. Whenever she tried to bring up something to converse with him about, he would get off the conversation, black out, turn around, walk out the room, you name it. So here it is. She felt she was with somebody she couldn't grow with. And you know how some of us ladies are. Some of it, I know I read avidly. People who know me know I am an avid reader. I go through multiple books in a month. I read so much. And to be with someone who doesn't like to study, who doesn't like to learn, who doesn't like to read, I don't know how that will work for me. Somebody that if I read something I'm interested in and I'm trying to engage in a conversation and you just like flat, you're not even having a conversation with me. What is the meaning in that kind of relationship? So I don't believe that we should be unequally yoked educationally. But now I am going to get on formal education. Now here's the thing. Hey, Sasha, how are you? Hey, Lakeem, how are you? Here's the thing about formal education. Now we already know as Black women here in America, many of us, not all of us, but many of us have higher levels of education than our Black men. It's just the truth. Right? And so what happens is our pickings to find somebody at our level, they're not that good. Let's just be honest. So what does that mean? Does that mean we don't date somebody because they don't have a master's or they don't have a doctorate or they don't have a bachelor's degree? No, it doesn't mean that, because education, in my opinion, is so much more than a formal paper. If he is somebody who has only completed high school, but he's learned, he's always reading things, he's always learning new things, he's always applying things, he's curious about what you're learning, he's curious about improving himself, that is a relationship you can build with. That is somebody you could be equally yoked with. You may not have the same degree, you may not have the same level of education, but if you can jive with that person, don't shut them out. Many people see me and they automatically assume that she must be with somebody at her level educationally speaking. I have more education than my husband. I have way more education than my husband. But it doesn't mean that I consider him unequally yoked educationally. Because he's always learning. He's always going to workshops. He's always going to seminars, trainings. He's always learning and growing himself. So that is something that I can rock with. And I always say this to women all the time. Hey, Lakia. Hey, babe. My husband is on. Hey, babe. I always say this to women all the time. Don't judge him too quickly, because we have to really look at a lot of systemic things that are going on in society when it comes to our Black men. So we are going to judge him simply on education. You ain't never going to find a man. It is just that simple, because we know the stats, and the stats tell us that there are more educated Black women than there are Black men. But just because he doesn't hold a degree doesn't make him uneducated. So if you can rock with this person, if you guys are growing together, if y'all like to read books together, if y'all like to learn new things together, then that person you are yoked with. But if you're with somebody who can't even speak the king's language, I mean, they can't even spell right. I mean, they don't even know what you know. They're not even willing to learn what you know. How fruitful is that relationship going to be? You think I'm joking? I'm not joking. Not too long ago, I had a client, and you know what she said to me? I don't know if this is a relationship with me. I mean, even when he pronounced things, I'm embarrassed. Whenever we're out and he says things, I'm like, oh my God, that's not the word. That's not how you say it. And she is so totally embarrassed. Now, do I think that sometimes she might be a little bit hard on him? Yes, I do. But I understand where she's coming from. It's so hard to engage in a conversation with someone who doesn't understand the words that you're using, even if you're using simple words in your book. That is so difficult. So before you jump into a relationship, make sure you can have a conversation with this person. You know what I mean? Make sure you guys can talk. Because it ain't nothing like being in front of somebody. You're like, oh my God, he sounds so ignorant. He can't even spell right. Like, really? Be mindful of that. Number 3, you may be compatible, but if you are unequally yoked with somebody emotionally, oh my Lord. See, I'm going to have to slow down on this one. To be unequally yoked with somebody emotionally. Let me say that again. To be unequally yoked with somebody emotionally. Oh my Lord, crazy. You don't want to be in a relationship like that. I can promise you that. And some of us are already in relationships with people we are unequally yoked with emotionally. The people that have no concept of emotion. You're hurting. You're down and out and you need the support. And he don't even make the connection that you need him. You know what I mean? He don't even make the connection that you're hurting. I mean, hello? Who was your mama? Seriously. Right? That is so crazy. Or what about that person who does not know how to maintain his emotions? You can't even go outside with him without him getting in an argument with somebody. A hothead. Somebody who's always angry. You calm, cool, and collected, and this person want to fight everywhere they go. Really? We doing this at 40? Like, we doing this? That is serious. I know so many women in relationships with men like that. He's emotionally dysregulated. She can't even say anything to him without him losing his rockers, without him going off. I mean, he goes from 0 to 60 real quick. Why would you want to be in a relationship with somebody you got to walk on eggshells before you even speak? You don't even know what to say to the person because you don't know what's going to trigger them. Or what about that emotionally wounded man? That man who had a screwed up relationship with his mama, ain't know his daddy, and now he in a relationship with you. And you expect him to treat you like a queen? Man, look, half of those men don't even know what they are. They still little boys. We get in relationship with people who are not emotionally mature. They still little boys. And we expect them to be a man. Come on. Am I the only one that noticed this sometimes with people, with the men that they choose, especially when you bring those kind of men around your children? I know this is going to be a little damper, but let me say this. Every time I open up an article and there's a baby, and she was hooked up with somebody who could not control his emotions, and that child gets harmed, I'm always saying to myself, you ain't see these signs in him before you decided to bring him around your kids? You didn't see that he was 730, like he wasn't functioning correctly before you brought him around your kids? See, I don't care how much fun you have with somebody. He could be fun, excited, and all that. But if that dude is emotionally dysregulated, if that dude does not know how to control his emotions, is that a person you honestly want to be in relationship with? Come on, let's really think about it. Let's really think about it. You got holes in your wall because he's punching your wall. Now, I'm not making this stuff up. I see this with women all the time. They dating these little boys. These men who are actually boys, who have never appropriately developed. They missed a couple of stages. Chronologically, they're 40 years old. They're 45 years old, but mentally, they're operating like a 19-year-old. And God forbid you say anything to him. God forbid you're like, babe, that wasn't that serious. Like, wow. Oh, forget about it. You're going to get cursed out like you a stranger on the street. And the same is true for the fellas, but I ain't talking to the guys tonight. The same is true for the fellas. We got some women who are just crazy. My point is, you want to be emotionally connected to somebody. You want to be emotionally equally yoked with somebody. Not only because of their temper, just for the fact that we women, we need somebody who's going to be there for us emotionally. There's nothing like being in a relationship with a man who is emotionally disconnected and emotionally unavailable. It is draining, sisters. It is so draining. It takes so much out of you to try to teach that person to feel, to try to teach that person to have empathy. See, empathy don't start when you're 45, 50, 60 years old. Empathy starts as a child, So when I see those men who are emotionally unavailable and they don't have empathy, I wonder how in the world did their caregivers, their mothers, their fathers, aunties, grandmas, whoever, how did they raise these men? You know, it's crazy. It's crazy. So really watch who you engage in a relationship with, especially when you're not equally yoked to them emotionally. It takes too much work, ladies. It takes too much work to raise a man. Do you hear how silly that sounds? It takes too much work to raise a man. So before we quit to jump into the relationships with these men are grown boys, really do some evaluation, really assess them to see how they manage their emotions. See how they manage in social environments. Can you take them out with you? See how they manage educationally. Can they understand the language that you're speaking? Do they down you for being educated? I remember somebody was dating who only had a high school diploma. Only a high school diploma. You know what this joker said to me? Yeah, I said joker. Let me tell you what this joker said to me. This is back in the day. This joker said to me, because he wasn't clear in describing what he needed me to do, so I didn't get him the exact thing he asked for. And you know what he said to me? All that education and you don't know nothing. Red flag, red flag, red mother flag. Really? Really? You can't even read a book at normal speed, and you talking to me? You done lost your mind. You lost your cotton picking mind. You got me twisted. You know what I mean? And that's what I'm saying. When you get with somebody like that, they will try anything to try to bring you down because of their own insecurities. They won't support you in your educational pursuits because of their own insecurities. You don't want to be like a brother like that. You want to be with somebody who is willing to learn and who likes learning things new. So you want to pay attention to these things. Let's go on to number 4. Yes, I had to stop. How many women do I meet on a daily who are in relationships with somebody who they are not equally yoked with mentally? Mentally. Okay. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Get it in relationship with cuckoo quacks. Get it into, see, this is a serious issue, and I'm not even trying to be funny. This is a serious issue, because let me say this. What I noticed, especially in our community, in the African-American community, the Afro-Caribbean community, the Black community, the African diaspora community, whatever title you want to give it. Let me say this, and I'm going to say this clearly, concisely. Let me say this. Listen to me. We have to stop ignoring mental health in our community. We got to stop ignoring the signs of mental illnesses that is prevalent in our community. See, because we have come to believe that crazy folks are supposed to be talking to themselves, rocking back and forth, picking their nose, flipping out, spazzing out. That's what we have come to believe. But let me tell you something as a clinician. Mental health does not always look like that. So get that image out of your mind and really start assessing these men, ladies, or these grown boys, whatever you want to call them. Let's really start assessing these people's mental health. See, because what I notice a lot of times among our African brothers, our Black brothers, and I love them. They know, all the ones that follow me know I love them to a T. But when you're crazy, you're crazy. And it's just that. We got to get help, people. We got to get help, people. And there are a lot of brothers who are clinically depressed. Do you hear me? I listen to them. And when they talk, they just make me sad. I'm like, damn, why I'm depressed today? Oh, I had a conversation with so-and-so. I forgot he's struggling with depression. He don't even know it. And we start to have children with these men. Now, granted, there are some external factors, some social factors in society that contribute to the Black man's depression. I'm not ignoring that. I'm not asking for us to just run away from somebody who may have been turned down for a job numerous times, although they're qualified, although they're educated, although whatever the case is, you're going to get a little depressed with that. That's normal behavior. You get what I'm saying? Or somebody who was wrongfully arrested and had to spend the night in jail, you're going to get a little depressed. You're going to get a little bit angry and anxiety. All that stuff is going to happen. I'm not speaking about that. I'm talking about the people that you just know the brother is off. You just know something is not right. See, you in your right state of mind, but you hooking it with somebody who is not healthy mentally. That's not good for you. That's not good for you. It's just like the brother, when I say the depressed brother, you got to be careful how that shows up. That's the brother who don't want to go anywhere. He's always just at home, just eating, always moping around. Every time you try to have a conversation, it's gory or it's depressing. And it's like, damn, your energy is just dragging me down. Just dragging me down. Doesn't do his normal activities. Doesn't want to go out. Doesn't want to hang out. And this is just their personality. See, I'm not talking about external factors that can bring your mood down. That's not what I'm speaking about. I'm speaking about people that no matter what, when you have a conversation with them, you just know they are off. I also see so many people enter into relationships with men, my Black brothers, and oh my gosh, I'm telling you. And I can just tell they have some type of cluster disorder. I ain't going to get deep because y'all know I'm a doctor in the house. I ain't going to get deep, but I am going to say this. Clusters, personality disorders, right? Different clusters, schizophrenia, schizoaffective, narcissistic personality disorder, antisocial personality disorder. You understand what I'm saying? Dependent. Oh my Lord. Dependent personality disorder. The man that is so dependent that can't do anything. It is his personality. Seeks validation and approval all the time. You're draining, brother. You're draining. I say this to you guys, you ladies, and I say this with the deepest of my heart. Start assessing the mental health of some of these men before you get in relationship with them. There be one way today, tomorrow there be a new person. A new person. And you don't know what's going on. Then you have a child with this brother and the kids the same way. They one way today and tomorrow they're a new person. In our community, we have to stop ignoring mental illnesses. We have to stop ignoring it. Because it's important for us to understand that this stuff is generationally. It gets passed down from one generation to another. The apple don't fall too far from the tree, but yet we having babies with people who are mentally ill. Do you hear me? We are having children with men who are mentally ill. And the same is true for the women, but we ain't talking to the women today about their stuff. We're talking to the women about the men. We're bringing these children in the world. You got to watch out for some of this stuff. Got to watch out for it. Men can be bipolar as well. We got to watch out for some of this stuff. Because those biochemicals, those biological disorders get passed down through the genes. Through the genes. So we got to learn how to structure our conversations when we're meeting somebody. You got to find a strategic way to ask, does anybody in your family got a mental illness? And I'm being serious. If he brings you around his family before you lay up in a bed with him and have some children by him, you better watch how them people in his family move. See, because we begin in our community, man, I ain't going to stay on this too long because this is my area of expertise. This is my area. This is what I do. So I'm going to try not to stay on this topic right here too long. But mental illness, we can't breeze over this. Because a lot of us, some of us got mental illnesses too. And we ain't able to recognize their craziness because we got our own craziness that's going on. You understand what I'm saying? And I don't mean craziness in any disrespectful way, but I think y'all understand the language that I'm talking. Now, if you were in therapy with me, I wouldn't use the word crazy because we just challenge. We're not crazy. You understand what I'm saying? But sometimes when we come from a family who has a history of mental illnesses and mental disorders, we're not able to recognize it in somebody else's family if we have normalized our family's behavior. Do you understand what I'm saying? I go into some households and they all off. They're all about 7:30. And then I go into the husband's household and they all off too. And it makes sense. It makes sense why the behavior had been normalized. But you know how that impacts you? It impacts you through the children. So now your child is in school, and now it's not like how we were growing up. See, who's in the 70s? I'm born in the 70s. When I was growing up, we didn't have IEPs and all that other stuff, right? You guys, if you were clearly 730, you was in special ed, and that was that. Ain't no due process. But now they have all this stuff. And I see it all the time. These children coming into the school systems and they are mentally sick. And the parents are in denial because they are sick too. You understand what I'm saying? The parents are sick, so they have normalized sick behavior and they can't even see it in their children. And they think the school is picking on their child. No, baby. The school ain't picking on your child. The school is trying to save your child because nobody saved you. You get what I'm saying? So when we choose these men, we have to be very careful with that. And if you have your own stuff going on, baby, do not get in no relationship until you normalize your situation. Normalize your situation. Get yourself in some good therapy. Get yourself some medication. Normalize your situation. Because not everybody wants to get wrapped up in your warped world. Right? So we got to pay attention to that. We got to pay attention to that. So I see somebody saying they was born in 74, 78. So y'all already know we're in the 40s. We're in our 40s. We can't be doing the same things we were doing in our 20s. We got to take our time and get to know these men. You wonder why we got so many broken Black families. You wonder why people are not stable in their communities and in their households and in their families and in their relationships. If you sit back long enough, see, this is what I'm trained to do. But if you sit back long enough, you'll be able to see it too. Unless you have pathologies in your family that you have normalized, then you're going to miss it. Then you're going to miss it. So let's go on to number 5. Do not, let me repeat this. Do not be in a relationship with somebody you are unequally yoked with physically. Do not be in a relationship with somebody you are unequally yoked with physically. What do I mean? See, here's the thing. Some of us, not all of us, some of us like to run. We like to take our jog. We like to work out. We like to watch what we put in our mouths. We like to maintain a healthy weight, right? But we paired up with people who can't keep up with us. Do I need to say any more? We paired up with people who have poor habits. It takes too long to change somebody's behavior, especially if that person doesn't want to change. So we get paired up with these people who are physically out of it. You like to show up and look good and you know, move around and dance and do new things, and they came and walk up a flight of stairs. Even if they're not even overweight. Some people are not overweight, but they're unhealthy, right? So we gotta be careful with these things, especially if you like somebody that likes to run marathons, or you like to be in swimming and all these other things, skating, you name it, and you want to go out, you want to explore, and everything you want to do, your partner says, no, I'm not really into that, or I'm not into swimming, or I'm not into bike riding, running. Nah, I don't do that. I don't be running. Or goes to the gym. I'm not really into the gym thing. I don't like the gym environment. What that's going to do for you? See, you want somebody that you can be with, that you can enjoy doing activities with. So I really recommend do not get linked up with anybody Do not get yoked up with anybody who is not your equal physically. Who is not your equal physically. And here's another thing that people don't address. So I know some people like chubsters, and there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that. You like chubsters, there's nothing wrong with that. But what I'm saying to you is if you are into your physical health and you watch what you put in your mouth and you're very active, you like to move about, and you with somebody who is not healthy, somebody who do not watch what they eat, they don't exercise, even if it just entails walking, they don't take care of their body, they're overweight. It might be fun and cute when you're in your 20s and maybe even in your 30s, but baby, take it from me, when you start hitting 40 and 50, oh no, baby, time catches up with you. Do you want to spend your days in the hospital with your partner? Got to give him his blood pressure medication. Got to give him his diabetes medication. Got to go with him to the cardiologist. You got to go with him to physical therapy because he fell and he really hurt himself bad because he was too big and too much pressure on his knees. Do you want to go with somebody who can't lift up things for you because his back is really, really bad because he didn't take care of himself and he's overweight and he refuses to lose the weight? I see couples like this all the time. Y'all think I'm making this stuff up. I see couples like this all the time. She's active. She's outgoing. She cares about her appearance. And he wonder why she don't invite him out. Now, I'm not saying that's not right. Especially if you're in a marriage, you got to do it. You got to do it if you're in a marriage. But I'm just saying, if you're not married, you need to really watch this kind of stuff. Watch the people you're getting in relationship with. Just because you're compatible don't mean you're equally yoked. So physical. Be equally yoked with somebody who can complement you physically. I'm not necessarily talking about what the way the person looks. That's a bonus. That is nice. But I'm saying physically, in activities, in food, in health, and your dietary restrictions. Like, for example, if you eat pork and he doesn't eat pork, you might want to really analyze that relationship to the T to see if you can be in that relationship, especially if you ain't got kids together. Because what you're going to get the kids. And y'all got to be in agreement with those kind of things. Make sense? So really think about that kind of stuff. Hey, Yolanda, how are you? Number 6. Ladies. Now, y'all know I have a little dark side. So I won't get too deep in this topic here. But sexually. To be unequally yoked with someone sexually. Oh my gosh, put a bullet in me. You do not want to be unequally yoked with someone sexually, especially if you are the one who is adventurous. If you are the one who needs to be in new areas to be entertained sexually, you know what I'm saying? But you with somebody who's very cautious, somebody who's very conservative, and they don't like certain things. Or somebody who you into sex, when you feel it, you just you love everything about it, and then the other person doesn't have any rhythm or any strokes, or they don't know how to do certain things right, whether it's male or female. You know, we're grown, right? Can we have a real conversation on flynubianqueen.com? Can we have a real conversation? I'm saying you want to be with somebody that you are equally yoked with sexually. All that BS, that sex is just simply for reproduction, that is old school thinking. People enjoy their sex. After you have all the kids in the world, sex is not supposed to stop. Fun sex. Boring sex, I mean, if you're that kind of person that likes conservative, boring sex, then find somebody who likes conservative, boring sex. If you're somebody who's adventurous, who likes the new things, who doesn't care if they get caught in the moment, if you are one of those people, get with somebody who's adventurous like that. You know what I mean? Because it can put a damper on your sex drive. It can really dampen your sexual relationship. Especially if you're somebody who likes fellatio and cunnilingus. Let me break that down. Fellatio or cunnilingus. You know what I mean? If you with somebody and you that kind of person and you really love that stuff, and that person 10 years later still acting like they're brand new, I mean, come on. that dampers relationships. And you want to make sure that your partner's eyes are always on you. You want to make sure they like having sex with you. You want to make sure they still find you attractive. Because sex is one of those things in a relationship. It's tricky. It's tricky. If you're not compatible with your person sexually, if you're unequally yoked with your person, your partner sexually, a lot of other things in the relationship is going to fail. I'm just being honest with you guys. I hear it all the time. I get the emails all the time. Here's another thing about sexually. Let's talk about this. We really got to address this in the Black community. We really got to address this because a lot of people don't understand that many of our sexual behaviors, right? Our sexual behaviors, especially the negative ones, is rooted in our socio-historical context here in America. Y'all know what I mean? Slavery. So a lot of it is rooted there, okay? So all that breeding that was happening, all that removing the Black man from the family that was happening, all of that stuff has an impact on how we manage relationships. See, we don't consciously think about these things, but people like me that study patterns and we watch and we study people, we know it's all connected. I can link all of that stuff back. If you visit my site, savingblackmarriages.com, you'll see I can link all of that stuff back to our history. Now, where am I going with this? Let me bring this forward for you. Here's the thing. Some people believe in multiple partners, right? Polyamorous relationships. I am not here to tell you that is wrong. However, if you do believe in a polyamorous relationship, that means multiple love partners, multiple sex partners, and you do believe in that, make sure you disclose that from the rib. Disclose that from the start, because give that person an opportunity to choose whether or not he or she wants to be involved in that. Because this is a monogamous society that we live in. You understand what I'm saying? And I'm not saying polyamorous relationships are wrong. I'm not saying it because it isn't. It isn't wrong. I can date you back to different villages in Africa where that is the norm, in India where that is, I can date you back. It's not abnormal, but it may be abnormal for some of our sisters and brothers here in America because this is a monogamous society. So if you are somebody who likes to have multiple partners, find somebody who likes to have multiple partners as well. Or somebody who's cool with you having multiple partners. Because that can really harm a relationship. And you don't want to put somebody through that. You don't want to put somebody through that kind of pain to have to find out that you can't keep it in your pants. Your man can't keep it in their pants. Right? So before you jump in a relationship with somebody, make sure you're sexually yoked with this person. You want to be equally yoked with this person sexually. Because sex is one of those areas when you betray somebody sexually, it will harm your relationship. I promise. As a therapist, as a couples therapist, one of the hardest work for us to do, and I specialize in infidelity, one of the hardest work that it is for us to do as therapists is to remend relationships when it's been violated because of sex disagreements. You understand what I'm saying? Cheating, extramarital affairs, right? Sexual differences. I mean, when those things happen, somebody doesn't want to have sex. Come on. I'm speaking to somebody today. Somebody doesn't want to have sex, usually the woman. And he feels because he is your husband or he has children with you, he's entitled to it. Baby boy, that's called rape.com. Is rape. It's rape, and that doesn't hold up in a court of law anymore. You will find your behind bars. So you got to really assess who you are with. If you starting out a relationship with somebody and they're very forceful with sex, and that's not how you roll, you might want to say to yourself, do you really want to be in a relationship with this person long term? Because if y'all get in a disagreement or an argument and you're saying you don't want it and he takes it, that's a violation. is a violation for many women. And when they have that kind of injury, that emotional injury, it's hard for them to recover. So my point is, make sure you are equally yoked with your partner sexually. Number 7, I'm almost out of here, guys. Number 7. Number 7. Make sure you are equally yoked with somebody financially. Now, let me break down what I mean when I say financially. I'm not necessarily just talking about we both make $100,000. We both make $50,000. We both make $20,000. I am not talking about that. All right? But I'm saying somebody's financial IQ, somebody's financial behaviors. You want to be equally yoked with somebody like that. Because if you are with somebody who has no concept of a budget, and you're always late on bills, and they don't have financial discipline to be able to manage the household appropriately, you are unequally yoked with that person. If y'all don't have the same beliefs when it comes to money, not only investments, but when do we have to have a conversation about money? If we're going to spend $10, are we going to spend $500? If we're going to spend $250, are we going to spend $1,000? Do we have to converse with somebody? You want to make sure you're with somebody who's on equal footing. Are you with somebody who's a high risk taker, but you are financially conservative and it makes you uncomfortable? See, because when you're with somebody like that for a long time and you guys can't meet in the middle, you can't have any compromise with this situation, you're going to have high anxiety. You're going to have a lot of stress. And nobody wants to live their life forever with high levels of stress. We can't afford it, Black sisters and brothers. We can't afford it. We're dying. We're dying from stress. So you want to make sure you're with somebody who really understands money, or at least willing to learn about money. And the reason why I say at least willing to learn, because what I understand, especially in our community, the money behaviors, oh man, we got a lot of healing to do in our community. I just have to pause for a second. We have a lot of healing to do in our community, because even our money situations are pathological. They are passed down from generation to generation. Grandma was a spender. Her mama was a spender. Her mama was a spender. Grandpa was a gambler. His father was addicted. You get what I'm saying? We got a lot of healing in our community to do, even in the area of finances. But listen, if you're with somebody who is willing to learn, who wants to grow, who wants to do things differently, then you work with that. You work with that. But if you're with somebody and you can't even sleep comfortable at night because you might get evicted tomorrow, that's another conversation. You can't wait till you have a whole family with this person to decide you're unequally yoked with them. If you're not married to them, y'all don't have any kids, this is something you really want to consider. Because the one thing we cannot do is change people. We cannot change people. If you're trying to change your partner, you are wasting your time. So when it comes to money, you really got to be cautious about the partner you choose, because money will break up a relationship faster than anything else. And here's another thing I want to say about money. If you're with somebody who's so cool, calm and collected about borrowing money from everybody, you don't want that, especially if you are not that kind of person, because his rep and his image, or her rep and her image, is going to roll over on you. It's going to pass down to you. So you got to be very cautious with that. Now I know, and you know, I hate to, when I think about our brothers, I really do have a place in my heart for our brothers, because they experience, and I'm not making excuses for them. Yeah, I'm not talking about the little boys. I'm talking about the grown behind men who have great qualities. A lot of them, society has dealt them the wrong deck of cards on purpose. On purpose. So when we talk about money, and the Black man, that is a very sensitive topic for many, because Not only are pathologies, bad behavior passed on from family lines, right? So their parents didn't know how to save money and they pass it on to the kids, and that's all messing up. I'm sorry, somebody's saying you're saying broken. I don't understand what you're saying, but you got is my speech breaking up? I don't understand what that means. But let me move on to the black man. Let me get back on topic. Ladies, we gotta really be analytical when we analyze our partners when it relates to money, because we have to be careful not to re-victimize him as society does, especially white society. We have to be very careful about that, because believe it or not, there is a such thing called male ego fragility. It really does exist. So we have to be really careful how we approach that topic of money, but it doesn't mean that we have to accept bad behavior. I want to make that very clear. So you might make more money than your partner. And it doesn't mean that he is a bad partner. It doesn't mean that he's unequally yoked with you because he doesn't make the same amount of money. But that brother might be an awesome saver. That brother might know how to look for discounts. That brother may, you got to really analyze it when it comes to our brothers before we jump the gun too quick financially, because society has dealt a lot of them a bad hand. So I just want to say that out there. I'm not making any excuses, but all the other stuff that I talked about when it comes to finances, I mean it and I hold true to that. Before you get in a relationship with these people, really analyze their financial behavior and their financial IQ. Because if you're unequally yoked in that area, no bueno, it's not good. It's not going to be good for you. So here's the last area, then I'm out of here. Here's the last area. Spiritually. Spiritually. Now, I use the word spiritually. You can go ahead and put religion under that umbrella, but they're not the same thing. But you can put religion under that umbrella. Because just because somebody is spiritual doesn't mean that this person is religious. So I want to be mindful of that. But either or, whether they're religious or spiritual, you don't want to be unequally yoked with somebody like that. All right? Now, can you have two different spiritual beliefs and make it in a relationship? Yes. Can you have two different religions and make it in a relationship? Yes. It's all in how much the partners are willing to come to the middle with each other, how much they're willing to have these kind of conversations consistently. But to be in a relationship with somebody you are spiritually unequally yoked with is a drainer, is a drainer. Is a drainer. I know somebody who is atheist, doesn't believe in the existence of a God, and is in a long-term committed relationship with somebody who is Jehovah's Witness. My God. Can I just tell you how that relationship is? If it's not one argument after the next, I don't know what is. Arguing about the kids, holidays, all this kind of stuff. I mean, it is crazy. And it puts a drain on the relationship. And you know how you get the sense that somebody's just in the relationship because of the kids? That's the sense I get. That's the sense I get. So you want to be very cautious about somebody when you link up with them, and make sure that your spirituality matches theirs. Make sure your religion matches theirs. And just because you're both Baptist doesn't mean you're equal, because there are different segments of the Baptist religion. Same thing with Protestant, Methodist, AME, all those people. You got to make sure the beliefs line up, because it causes chaos in a relationship. Now, here's what I'm going to say to you guys before I get out of here. Here's what I'm going to say to you guys before I get out of here. I'm just telling you to analyze this stuff. I'm telling you to be cautious before you jump in a long-term relationship and have kids with these kind of people. Really see how compatible you are and how equally yoked you are. Because you may be compatible, but you might be unequally yoked. Right? Even in spirituality and religion. Somebody may have it, but they're not like fanatics. And you link up with somebody who's a fanatic who makes you feel bad all the time because you don't function how they function. Every time you turn around, you're going to hell just because they in church Monday through Sunday. Right? So you got to be careful about that kind of stuff. But here's what I'm going to say. If you are in a relationship with someone that in any of these areas that I discuss, you are unequally yoked with, I am not recommending you just flee your relationship. Here's what I'm recommending. If you are with this person and you know you are unequally yoked with him, but you can have conversation with him, you guys can discuss these different topics. It doesn't mean it's going to change. It doesn't mean you do it because you're looking to change him. But the fact that you guys can have conversation about it without arguing and fighting each other, one person got to be right, the other person is wrong, without all of that nonsense, then you might be okay in a relationship. If you could bring yourself to a place where you just trust your husband or trust your boyfriend for who they are and accept them for who they are, understanding that you guys have differences, as long as you guys can communicate about the differences. Sometimes it's not about changing the other person, because you can't do that. You drive yourself crazy trying to change somebody else. Sometimes it simply has to do with being able to converse with this person about your differences, being able to come to different compromising, being able to feel validated, being able to feel like you're being heard, that your feelings matter. Not that you're looking for him to change, but that he's acknowledging your differences and he's respecting that. So we might have different money habits, right? But if I say, I need to know, we need to have a conversation before we spend money over $500. We need to have that conversation because that's what I need to feel secure. If that person honors that, then that's a good thing. And that's just one example. I don't have all nights. I cannot give you 1,000 examples, but I can. You know what I mean? So you have to explore it. If you're somebody who's not equally yoked with your partner sexually, be able to have the conversation and be able to compromise with what he is willing to do. He may not be willing to have sex in a park in the broad daylight. He may not be willing to do that. But he might be able to try different toys. He might be willing to do that. But you're only going to know if you have a conversation and you guys can reach an area of agreement. Does that make sense? So I want to just tell you, these are Dr. Shonna's top 8 areas where you don't want to be unequally yoked with your partner. If you are unequally yoked, you want to at least be able to engage in healthy communication about these things. So that's all I have for you guys today. Ladies, it's been a blessing. I absolutely love coming on here talking to you guys. If you have not already shared the video, do me that favor, please, and share the video. I greatly appreciate that. Make sure you subscribe to FlyNubianQueen.com. That is our network. It's for our ladies, so make sure you subscribe. And if you have not already liked or followed this page, make sure you do that, because I'm on here every Thursday and Sunday talking about relationships. I love you all, and to all a good night.